everyone, welcome back. I am here today with Ashley.
Hi.
You guys have probably watched a few of these interview chat style videos before. So what I might do is we might just launch into it, and maybe Ashley, I might ask you to let the audience know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Ashley. I've been working with Lisa now for 4 years. This is my 5th year now. I actually started as a tutor when Lisa first messaged me after I finished school, so something very spontaneous. And ever since then, I've done an arts degree at university, and I'm starting a Masters of Teaching, and that's all come out of being a tutor.
Yeah. Awesome. We thought that maybe we could share with you guys what tutoring is like from a tutor's perspective. Maybe for any of you out there who are considering getting tutoring, or maybe you're someone who's interested in becoming a tutor even, then you could get an idea of what the experience is like. So I guess just to begin with, what made you say yes to becoming a tutor?
Well, initially, so I just finished school when you messaged me. I didn't really have many other things going on at that time. It was like a big gap between university, and I had really always loved English, and you just seemed really friendly when you messaged. I was like, oh, I might as well like try it out and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think initially I was very nervous about considering tutoring, just because the tutors that I'd known were always a lot older and a lot more experienced. So I was a bit nervous about my own level of experience, but I thought, why not? I can't really lose much with it, and I'm glad I said yes.
Yeah.
It's turned out really well, so
yeah. Awesome. And you know, you've stuck with it for the entirety of your university degree, essentially. So had you had tutors previously?
Yeah, so I'd had quite a few, and a lot of them were usually either retired teachers, or they'd been teachers that were still working at school, but they were all a lot older and a lot more experienced. I'd never had any tutors that were university students, and I'd never heard of anyone having them. So yeah, that's kind of like the idea I had of a tutor.
Sure.
So I was a bit nervous going into that.
Yeah. So then when you started tutoring, I guess, what were the differences between you being much younger than the tutors you previously had in high school?
I think a good benefit of being the age I am was the relatability to the students. The tutors I'd had were always a lot older, so by the time they'd finished high school, it would been quite a long time since they started tutoring. So they couldn't necessarily relate to my own experience in the same way. So even when I first began, I was only a year older than all the students I was teaching. And I felt like they were a lot more comfortable with me, and they weren't as worried about what I would say necessarily. But I think the downside to that is sometimes they don't take you as seriously because you're not as old. But I found that if you got a good rapport with them, they're more likely to listen to you and feel comfortable with you. So it just comes over time, I think.
Yeah. So how many students did you start off with?
I think in my first year I had maybe about 6 or 8, and I didn't know what university would be like, so I didn't want to take too many on board. But I also found that it was a good way to kind of do it around the university schedule, because a lot of it would be after hours, and you can just kind of be very flexible with what you're doing. And I was really glad that I had that adaptability with students as well. They could adapt to my schedule, I could adapt to theirs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really glad to be doing it like that.
And was that a manageable workload for you?
Yeah, so definitely a really manageable workload, and I liked that I could change things as I went. Rather than like a shift job, which I've had as well. They're much more rigid in terms of what you're able to do, especially with going away, or if you do have exams coming up. So I really found like even having more students, it's a lot easier to manage, because you can kind of tie it in with the things you're doing within uni as well.
And what was it like for you going from student on that side of things and having a tutor versus now being the tutor and having students?
So initially it was very nerve-wracking. I never felt like I had much of a wisdom to share with people. So I think it was just kind of getting more comfortable with my own skills and understanding what I can do and how I can help people. So initially I had a very large, diverse range of students. So some were a little bit more hesitant with English and that wasn't their favourite subject. I had another one who became a great student, and she ended up becoming a tutor as well. So it's kind of just managing how the different students are and what they want from me. And I think as I've progressed as a tutor, I found that's the easiest thing to do, seeing different levels and what you can provide to them. No,
absolutely. And you did an amazing job, because Ashley tutored Michelle, who used to be a tutor with us. But Ashley got a study score of 50, Michelle got a study score of 50. It's amazing.
I was pretty, I think from meeting her, I knew she'd do well. So it's pretty amazing to see in the first year, the different results that people get, so I was pretty happy with that.
I mean, what was that like, I guess, as somebody who had achieved a perfect score yourself.
Yeah.
Tutoring a student who was obviously quite able as well. Where was the opportunity to help her for you?
Yeah, I think with her especially, it was about kind of working in things that I've done specifically to get the 50. So a lot of students, they view 50s as unrealistic, or they're not aiming for that, which is completely okay. And so in that way, I don't want to push them towards certain things you need to get a 50. But with Michelle, it was just an obvious thing. So it wasn't necessarily just talking about structure. It wasn't just talking about themes. It was like going beyond like the bigger ideas. And in that year, there was the syllabus had context, which just allows you to explore a lot more philosophical ideas. So half our sessions were just discussing things, which really worked, I think, for her essays. Whereas for some other students, you have to just focus more on like the little details.
Sure.
But yeah, I found it really interesting, especially in the first year, to have a student like that, because she taught me things just as much as I think I hopefully taught her.
Yeah.
And so it was a good way to like start the career of tutoring as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear it. What about students who you say are like more hesitant with English?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't like English, it's not their top subject.
Yeah.
How do you navigate tutoring sessions with them?
Yeah, so it's a lot more touching on like the small things that they are struggling with. So first, it's kind of identifying what weaknesses they do have and seeing what they're comfortable doing for that year. So there's some people that aren't willing to put in a lot of work, and I think that's just something a tutor has to recognize. It's just up to them. And so that's just working with what they're gonna do. And otherwise, it's just also helping people who aren't confident. Maybe they're not confident because of what previous teachers have said to them, or just what they feel like, but it's like kind of motivating them in small doses. So saying like, this could be improved, but you're doing really well in this area, so that they don't feel like they're not improving at all. And if they get more confident and comfortable with what they're doing, they're more likely to actually enjoy English. And the best like feedback I can get is like when they say, I actually like English now.
That's
and then
true.
I'm like, okay, I've done my job.
That's a great feeling to have. Because like, I think a lot of the times people just don't like the English because they're not good at it. You know, like they're not sure what to do, but once they start getting those small wins, things can change around quite quickly.
Even like a small improvement in marks or getting a good feedback like from a teacher can be like such a good thing for one of those students, because they see that they're doing something right, and that pushes them to try harder rather than just feeling like they're defeated first.
Would you mind sharing one of your favorite student stories?
Okay. So there was a student that I had also in my first year, and he was someone that was never like the perfect English student, at least from what he told me, but he was willing to put in all the work he possibly could. And I think he sent me so many essays that year, and it was my first year, so I was like on top of it. I was like, I'm gonna do it. And he said he wanted to get over 40, and he thought that was really unrealistic, I think, at the time. And I think in the end he did get like very close to 45, and he was ecstatic, and he was like, wow. And so that was just something that I was really proud that I helped him through that, and he got into what he needed to do. And I think it's just helping people who don't feel like they can do it, and that's like the big thing, because it's sometimes people know how good they are, and then it's just great to see them go that bit further. But when someone doesn't know and they do well, that's like the best feeling you can get from someone.
That's awesome. Do you have any advice for people who are looking for tutors about maybe what they should be looking for?
So I think finding someone that you relate to. So even if initially you feel like you're not comfortable with the tutor, tell them and like how you're feeling, or tell, if it's the company, someone like Lisa, the boss, how you're feeling with the tutor, because sometimes it is about finding the right one. Just like anyone, I've had tutors which I strayed away quick because I didn't like them, and I just knew that I wouldn't enjoy it. So if you're not happy, find someone new. There's going to be someone out there. And also identifying what your problems are. So if you feel comfortable telling your tutor how you're feeling, if your marks are low, don't feel disheartened. No one's going to judge you. And there's going to be someone out there that's going to help you, and make sure you find someone that's willing to do that.
I think that's a great point, because I guess like when it comes to finding a tutor, it's so personal. So I know that LSG, we always try to hire people who are like actually, you know, fresh graduates, so more relatable for you, but people who we find to be friendly and have got that really welcoming personality. But you know, sometimes it just happens where we pair you up with one's tutor, and you know, you might come back to us and say, for whatever reason it is, and it doesn't matter what that reason is, but it just doesn't click, and that's totally okay. And what we do is we like always try to match you up with somebody else who we think would be a good fit. I feel like that usually works out. But I've totally had that experience myself as well, just like going through tutors throughout my high school life. Do you have any advice on how people could make the most use out of their tutor?
Yeah,
each
so
week?
with most tutors that you'll find that we're all willing to put in a lot more time than you think. So most of the time we'll answer emails outside of work hours, we'll mark essays. If you have any questions, if you want to text us about something, we're like more than happy to answer.
Yeah.
So I think if you already are paying for a tutor, the most you can do is use them to the most you possibly can.
Yeah.
So even if you finish a paragraph, you're not sure about it, send it and we'll look over it.
Yeah.
Or if you're not sure and you have a little question for something on homework, just send it to us and we'll have a look. It doesn't have to be just in sessions. And the best thing you can do as well to get time out of your sessions is do things before your sessions, so that you're not wasting time, say, looking over an essay for an hour when we could be looking over how to write that essay in the first place. So if you can put time in before sessions and after sessions, then it'll make the tutor's life and your life a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure, because you're sort of doing that legwork before
exactly.
you get into the session, so that you can go through the like more important things and actually like get your tutor's brain to like really work for you during that session. No, I think that's awesome advice. And I guess just to finish it off, what about on the other side of things? So if somebody is interested in becoming a tutor, I guess what has been the highlights for you?
So I think being able to find a job that's quite rewarding and you're not just doing it specifically for the money. Finding people that you can talk to, feeling really comfortable with how you're teaching people. So if you really like the kind of careers where you can help people, but you feel like you're not skilled enough potentially to do it, then tutoring might be a really great option for you, especially if you're really intelligent with what the subjects you did at school were. And so many people are looking for tutors now, and so there's so many opportunities. So if you feel like you're not sure, the best thing to do is just try it out and contact a company, specifically Lisa Study Guide, and to see how you do.
Yes, come to us.
And see if you like it. If you don't like it, there's always opportunity to move on to something new. But I think it's always going to be a rewarding thing to help other people, and especially when you have opportunity during university, it's a great job to have.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you, Ashley, for coming onto the channel, giving us some insight into your life as a tutor. Super appreciative of everything that you've said today. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, then don't hesitate to ask them in the comment section below. And yeah, if you guys are interested in having tutoring with us, then the links are down below for you as well. If you're interested in becoming a tutor, also another link for you. But you know, you don't have to go with us. We're just here to sort of give you advice, and you can just take what you want and find what works best for you. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.